Last class we learned about to conduct the conductivity for liquid. To conduct conductivity property for the liquid. We learned how we have to connect, how we was connected to the liquid, whether those are conduct or not for the conductivity, means for the electrical energy. And also we learn different properties. Electroplating and also electrolysis and advantages, disadvantages, whatever those. Okay, so shall we discuss? Today we are going to talk about, see here, some natural phenomena. See there, first of all, you must know about each and every top, means each and every part of our lesson. Some, we know well about a few. Of course, accountable, like you can talk. So natural means, so it occurs by nature. And phenomena, process or experimentation or methods. Generally, what phenomena occurs by the nature? If those occurs by the nature, how those are affecting our life? How those are implementing to us? Whether we are be comfortable with that phenomena occurs by nature. Those we will discuss in this lesson. So what I am talking here, some natural phenomena, the phenomena which are occurs by natural, means by nature, means without any physically, without any by forcefully, means it is not by artificial. The phenomena should affect by what nature, means by nature. It is what we are calling natural phenomena. Those what we can call natural phenomena means, we know well about number one, floods. Drought. Okay. Tsunami. Cyclone. Earthquakes. Lightning. See what I'm saying to you. And fire accidents. See, except what I'm saying to you. So the process, the method means the phenomena which are occurs, which are forming by nature. Okay, those what are we are saying example for just example. Then by acting those, when those are formed by the nature, then are you ready to face that? Are you ready to stop that natural phenomena? Is it possible? If the floods are coming, the stream of water coming very fast towards you, are you ready to swim in that water? Flood? We may run from that to escape ourselves from the stream of water, from the flood. Is it or not? Because once those phenomena, natural phenomena occurs by nature, those are entered in our life, they may give destruction to our life. They may left whole our property. They may take out from our life property, and properties what are there. Those will give to us what? Poverty. Those will give what to us? Poverty. What it gives? Poverty. Is it or not? Of course. Then how those are forming? Is there any relation? Is there any reason to form such a phenomenon by the nature? Such a destruction to give to us? Is there a chance to stop to those? Otherwise, what are the precautions we have to take? Those whole by step we will learn in this lesson. How natural phenomena will form, What are the reasons? What are the prime causes? Understand? Let me talk to those. In our earlier classes, in our earlier classes, we learn about what we learn about cyclones. We learn about in our earlier classes. What about winds? What we learn about winds, storms. What we learn about winds, storms. And also we learn about cyclones. Of course, tsunamis. Okay. Such a different type of we learn. Such a different type of natural phenomena we learn in our past, in our earlier classes. Is it or not? Of course. They given a lot of damage. They given a lot of damage to our life. They given a lot of damage to our life and property. Lot of damage to our life and property or properties. So they given a lot of damage to ourselves, means to our life and property. What are those? Some of the what we learn in our other classes. Winds. Suppose wind. Wind is a moving of air. We know well about when we are getting cyclones all the time. The wind moves with a particular amount of speed. When it moves through our coastal areas or coastal regions, we never predict. Plants will fall on the earth and huts will escape from that any surface of house. And these metal sheets which are covered for the roof, those also will escape from that. And also what we can observe, it brings the dust, air pollution. See there, buildings will fall and communication system will destroy. See there, storms and cyclones, tsunamis gives damage, a lot of damage to our life and properties. That is okay, we got damage from those. Okay, but in this lesson we are going to talk about, lightning and some of the natural phenomena we are discussing about in this lesson. Lightning and one more earthquakes. What you are talking about? Lightning and earthquakes. Lightning and earthquakes. What you are talking in this lesson? We are talking some more different natural phenomena. Before what we discussed in our earlier classes and before what we discussed, those are given damage to our life and property. Damages only it is giving. And this is these phenomena which are lightning and earthquakes are giving destruction to our life. Destruction to our, that means it can destructive. These can destructive phenomena. What phenomena we can call this? Destructive phenomena. Destructive. What phenomena we can call those? Destructive phenomena. What phenomena? Destructive phenomena. Means when once those forms in a particular region, there is no chance to live. There is no chance to live because it gives fatal. It brings fatal. It brings what? Fatal means death. It brings death. So how like those? It's giving complete destruction to us. It gives, these phenomena gives what? Complete destruction to our life, to our properties. We never recover once those by forming. We may become as a poverty person, who are the person who are staying in the poverty, because they are bringing complete destruction. They can change our lifestyle by forming by the natural. These are also what are called natural phenomena. Then how those will form? How those will form? Then what we can call, what we may call that lightning and earthquake, and how the lightning will form and how earthquake will form. Those we will talk in this lesson. Let's we talk about mean of lightning. What we may learn about lightning. 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 Lightning is a spark of light. Otherwise, we may observe it is a spark. We may see in spark in our daily life. What? Spark. Spark means where you may observe generally imagine. During the windy day, during the windy day, windy day means where on the particular day wind is more passing. At the time, what you are observing, we may observe by standing far from the electric poles, the two live wires. Why I am talking live wires? Because live means which is having life. Which is having life. Those wires are having what electric current is inside. Is it our life is inside our body? No. Yes, like only those are live wires. Live wires. What are those? Live wires. So by passing wind through that wire, the wires will what? Shake and move each other. By touching each other, those two wires between the electric poles, we may get one type of fire. One type of fire. One type of what I am saying, those like spark. What I am saying, spark. In Telugu, what you can call spark? Merupu. Spark means a merupu. We may get a sound of chitapat, a destructive sound of spark from that. And also, we may observe, where you may observe, imagine when we are placing a electric wire. We are placing a electric wire into a socket. Electric wire into a socket. We may observe what happened. By placing it inside that, what happened? That by touching those two, it gives a spark on the surface. By placing a metal pin, metal plug into the socket, we may get what in that electric circuit, we may get sparks from that. Is it or not? We may get a spark. Of course, we should not try that. We should not try those. Okay, because of it passing electric current. No. So what we can see here, lightning is also an electric spark. Lightning also called what? Is also called electric spark. Electric spark. What I am saying to you, lightning we are calling what electric spark, but what I am saying to you, but on a huge scale. What is this? But on a huge scale means huge scale means what I'm saying, lightning is also called, we are calling electric spark, means what you are observing sparks from by moving the wires by touching each other. Okay, when you are placing plug into the socket, electric socket, what are getting the spark, that is a minimum scale, very less scale means less amount. But what I'm saying here, it is also we are calling like electric spark, but it is not what is it is a small quantity. It is a huge amount. It is a huge amount. Huge amount. Huge amount means how much it will be. How much temperature. How much temperature it consists. How much electrical energy it presents. To talk about plus some more, we'll discuss about lightning. What is the lightning? Where the lightning will form. Such different questions are there. Is it or not? Let's talk about just a brief information on that. It is like a spark. It is also we are calling electric spark, but it is a huge scale. It is what a huge scale. Is it or not? Actually, in our earlier days, means ancient time. In our ancient time, our people were, those are staying that time, they were never, they don't know what about lightning. They were very afraid from the lightning. Because of what they are thinking, there are the two reasons to afraid from that. One is the fight between gods, the fight between what of God and evil spirits. What of God and evil spirits. Due to the fight between what of gods and evil spirits, they are getting lightning from the heaven. And also one more reason they got, who are doing the mistakes at daytime, so God gives spark, lightning to kill them. Because before I said lightning is a natural phenomenon, it gives destructive phenomena those. Is it or not? Yes. Such a by that, what happened? In our ancient people were very afraid by the lightning, very afraid from the lightning. So by that, after some means by hundreds of years, by passing hundreds of years, they don't know well about how lightning coming, how the lightning coming. Nowadays also, we are getting generally what I am saying to you nowadays due to the rainy season, one type of sound is coming, thunder, thunder, a rhythmic sound, a rhythmic loud sound. Is it or not? During that particular time, our elders are saying, so by the name of God, don't give any punishment to, don't send any metal surface to down Mr. Arjun, Falgun or something. They are calling Arjuna, Falgun or such a thing. Is it or not? Such a nowadays also we are believing by knowing about lightning. Then what about in our ancient time? Is it or not? So by that what happened? So generally the Greeks know about, who are know about Greeks. The Greek people know about something about what is lightning. The Mr. who are around means in the time of ancient 600 BC. 600 BC, before the Christ. 600. Before the Christ, 600. What will happen at that time? See there. They observed by rubbing two surfaces of any object, by rubbing two surfaces of any object, they observed they are finding a type of spark, one type of spark from that object. And also they observed when they have weared woolen cloth on the woolen cloth or polythene cloth, such as those, by wearing and tearing time means removing time, unrest time, they felt what is some of the irritation on their skin, the plucking of hair from their skin. So by that, different observations in when they are performing such a type of activity in a dark room, they observed a light from the cloth, a light from the cloth. Is it? So by these, at 600 BC, the Greek scientist, Mr. Benjamin Franklin. Benjamin Franklin means what I'm saying. In the time of, at the time they was observed in the time of 1752, Benjamin Franklin. Benjamin Franklin. The Greek scientist who are that Benjamin Franklin observed what a spark getting from the cloth by wear and tearing time. Cloth by wearing and tearing time. And also he observed, he studied on different experiments, he observed different activities, he conducted different experiments to identify the sparks, How like, see, he observed different activities by doing to identify the spark producing by two different objects in the time of 1752. What he said showed that Lightning and the spark from your class are essential the same phenomenon. Lightning and spark. Lightning and spark. Lightning and spark. I'm not saying about spark is a lightning, lightning is a spark. Lightning and spark are absorbed by the same phenomena. Same phenomena. What I'm saying to you? Phenomena. By the same phenomena, so he was observed that what lightning and spark produced by the clock, in the time of 1752. In the year 1752. By wearing and tearing of the dress on a particular dry cloth and dry skin, he was observed irritation of sound when he performs that activity in dark room. He observed sparks are coming from our class. Of course, I also observed, and recently by wearing polythene, what you are tying that lungi, pajama something. Okay, it was completely dried by ironing. After finishing bath, when you wear with a dry condition, we observed in a dark room, sparks are giving out by a rhythmic crackling sound. What is the sound? Crackling. Crackling means chitapata. Understand? Then how to understand such a dose? How to understand the spark? Means how those are giving sparks from the cloth. To identify that, they was conducted different activities. Why they are producing sparks? Why the cloths are producing sparks? By that, to prove that there was conducted different activities. Why the sparks are producing? If you find any cause to produce a spark, there is a reason to identify the forming of lightning. Around 2000 years after also, there is no particular, that means a particular essential reason to believe that, means most of the people are not believing how lightning is forming by giving experimental facts. Let's we talk about how sparks will form. What is the cause to produce a spark? What is the cause to produce the spark? Let's we talk about. You are going to talk about charging by rubbing. What I'm talking to you? Charging by rubbing. Charging by rubbing. See here, what I'm talking to you, charging by rubbing, means what I'm talking, effect of rubbing. We are talking about effect of rubbing. Effect of rubbing. Charging by rubbing. Let's we talk about that. Let's we take a pencil, plastic scale. Let's take a plastic scale. Do you know plastic scale? I think in your geometrical box there is 15 centimeter, 30 centimeter scale is there. By taking plastic scale, bring that at near to the tiny paper. Imagine this is a plastic scale. Now I am bringing to the tiny type of paper. Tiny means a small divided the paper cut. Okay. So by bringing that near to the paper, are you able to identify any? Is there a chance to identify the attraction between the papers and plastic scale, or repulsion between the papers and plastic scale? Are you able to identify such a those? Of course, there is no chance to identify the particular observation between plastic scale and tiny papers by bringing or placing near to the water, or by placing in contact to the papers, tiny papers also by plastic scale. But let's perform by rubbing on polythene cover. Rub with help of means rub on polythene cover with help of plastic scale. See here what I'm saying. By using plastic scale, rubbing on where? With rubbing with plastic scale on rubbing on polythene on polythene paper, polythene cover. By rubbing with plastic scale on polythene cover or polythene bag, after rubbing some interval of time, we have to bring that rubbed plastic scale near to the polythene paper or polythene bag. So by bringing near to the polythene bag or what we can say polythene paper, by rubbing on polythene paper or polythene bag with help of plastic scale, by bringing near to the teeny type of paper, what we may observe? Can you answer for that? What we may observe by bringing near to the teeny type of paper? We may observe the teeny type of papers will attract by the plastic scale. The teeny type of paper will attract by the plastic scale. Of course, with the same plastic scale, by rubbing on our dry hair, after rubbing some interval of time, bring that rubbed plastic scale near to with another plastic scale, near to the teeny type of paper. Again, we may observe the teeny type of papers or teeny papers will attract by the plastic scale. Teeny type of papers will attract by the plastic scale. What I'm talking, do you understand? So before rubbing, by bringing plastic scale near to the teeny papers, plastic scale near to the teeny paper, after rubbing on polythene bag on our dry hair, by bringing near to the teeny paper, there is a different relation. What happened? In the second situation, the teeny papers are attracted by the plastic scale. Coming to that, first we are talking about plastic scale on hair, okay, or polythene bag. And second thing, we are going to talk about used ball pen refill. What you are taking? Ball pen refill. And bring near the small piece of paper. See what I'm saying here, we done on polythene. Ball pen refill, bringing what near to the teeny type of paper. We observe same as what we done in the first activity. That a ball pen refill not attract you, means not showing attraction to the teeny papers, means that the teeny papers are not attracted by the ball pen refill. Understand? By rubbing on what polythene bag. After rubbing some interval of time, by bringing near to the teeny papers what ball pen refill, we observe the teeny papers are attracted by the ball pen refill. Are you understand what I'm talking to you? So coming to that, what I'm saying, after rubbing, we are identifying the teeny type of papers or teeny papers are attracting to those rubbed substances. Understand? And let's we talk one more to talk about Take a comb, which is help to comb our hair to make our hairstyle. Okay, comb. Comb means by taking comb and comb your hair. Comb your hair with the help of comb. Comb your hair with the help of comb. After combing on your dry hair, by bringing near to the tiny papers, again we observe the tiny papers are attracted by the water comb. Attracted by the comb. What I'm saying, see, in these three conditions, before rubbing, after rubbing on the different surfaces, they never attract to the tiny papers. It's not showing attraction to the tiny papers. By rubbing on different surfaces, by bringing near to the tiny papers, those tiny papers are attracted by those particular plastic scale, ball pen, refill, comb. Is it or not? Of course, by taking inflated balloon, See here, by taking inflated balloon, inflated means which is filled with air, Okay. So by taking inflated balloon which is tied that mouth, rub on our cloth, Okay. Rub on our cloth. After rubbing with inflated balloon on our cloth, by bringing near to the tiny papers, we may observe the tiny papers are attracted to the inflated balloon. We can do that whole activities, but one thing we have to remember. We have to take a precaution. We can do in our home those, but if you want to do that, we have to maintain one precaution. We have to take care of one. One is what is that? By rubbing after, we should not touch at end of the, suppose I rubbed by the surface. We should not touch at surface of the where we rubbed the spot. And also, we should not place any contact of metal to that rubbed surface. Understand what I'm saying to you? By rubbing after, we should not touch that whether it is hot or not. And also, we should not place any metal thing on the rubbed surface. By doubt, we can do that. Okay? And when we are inflated balloon rubbing on our cloth by bringing it to the tiny papers after some interval of time by rubbing, we observe the tiny papers are attracted. The tiny papers are attracted by the inflated balloon. Of course, that inflated balloon we can rub on our hair also. After rubbing on our hair, some after interval of time, by lifting slowly from our head, we can observe our hair is attracted towards the balloon. How we are raising the balloon, like hair also lifted towards the balloon. And also after bringing near to the tiny papers, it can attract. Here, hair also attracted and tiny papers are attracted by the inflated balloon. See here, what I am talking to you, take a drinking straw. What I am saying to you, drinking straw. And rub against a smooth wall or our cloth or our cloth or otherwise on our hair. By taking drinking straw, by rubbing on against the smooth wall on our cloth, after rubbing, by bringing near to the tiny papers, we can observe what the tiny papers are attracted by the what? Drinking straw. Attracted by the drinking straw. Understand? See, observe whole activities, what I'm saying to you. What I'm saying to you. And Mr. Benjamin Franklin done experiment with amber. Experiment with amber. Amber is a resin substance. Amber is a kind of resin. Amber is a kind of resin. By rubbing on the cat skin or cat fur, cat skin or cat fur. So by rubbing with amber on cat skin or cat fur, by bringing near to the tiny papers, he was observed the tiny papers are attracted by the amber. Tiny papers are attracted by the amber. Observe carefully what we done with different. In all situations, we observe by rubbing. After we are bringing near to the tiny papers, we observe the tiny papers are attracted by the what is such as those rubbed substances. Of course, not only on the tiny type of papers, we can observe dry leaves, husk, on dry leaf, husk. And those also we can identify whether those are attracting or not. Not only we can identify by the tiny papers, we can utilize in the place of tiny papers dry leaves and husk, whether those are attracting or not by those like a plastic scape, ball pen, refill, foam, inflated balloon, drinking straw, amber. Okay. Observe carefully what I'm talking to you. What observation we finished in that activity? What are the observations we observed? Let's we talk that. Let's we identify what are the observations we observed by explaining whole activities. How many activities we discussed? See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So coming to that, what are the observations? What are the observations? These are general information to identify why the sparks are forming. What is the behind reason to form the spark? What is the reason to form the spark? What is the cause? Okay, let's talk those. What are the object? What is that? Object and material used for testing. Material used for testing. Okay. Material used for testing. Okay. And next thing, effect before rubbing. Effect before rubbing. Effect after rubbing. After rubbing. After rubbing. See there, refill. What I am going to say to you, refill. Object is a refill. First object I am saying refill. Ball pen refill or refill. So we used a piece of paper. To test the material. Piece of dry leaves. Piece of dry leaves. And one more, husk. What you can say? Husk. Those three we utilize to test with the refill, whether they are attracting or not. Effect before rubbing. Paper pieces remain stationary. Paper pieces remain stationary, means at rest. And piece of, what you can say, Piece of dry leaves also remains stationary. Husk also remains stationary. Okay, effect after rubbing. Effect after rubbing. Piece get attached to the refill. Means piece of paper. What is piece of paper? Attracts. What you can say? Piece of attracts to the refill means attracts to the refill. Attracts to the refill. What I am saying to you, after rubbing on different means what we utilize to rub on the particular surfaces, what happens? Those are attracting water. Before the rubbing, those are stationary means at rest. They are not attract to anything. So by rubbing, what happens? By bringing near to the tiny type of papers or piece of papers, what happens? Those are attracted by the refill. Attracts to the refill. Piece of papers attracts to the refill. Then piece of dry leaves husk. Pieces of dry leaves and husk. We have to try ourselves whether they are attracting or not. Can you do in your home? Can you? By taking piece dried leaf and making tiny type of pieces, and by rubbing that, bring near to closer to that. By that we can try ourselves. By taking husk, we can bring near to that. We can identify. Okay, let's talk about one more. Coming to that, comb. Piece of paper, dry leaves, husk. Same as 1, 2, 3. Piece of paper, water, dry leaves, and husk. Okay, same as those by using comb. Before the rub, what happens? All are in stationary, of course, in stationary. Then after what we can identify, those will attract to the comb. Those will attract to the comb. Of course, we already observed. No need to do also. If you need to understand, we can do that activity. What near to you, what are with you, what are the objects with you. With that, we can try ourselves whether those are attracting or not. Generally, without to do that, we can say those can attract to the refill. Attract to the refill. But here, attract to the, what we can say? Attract to the comb. Attract to the comb. And coming to that, one more we can say, balloon. What you can say? Balloon. Of course, same things we are utilizing, same things. So same as before the rubbing. Before the rubbing, what happens? Those are in stationary. Stationary means in rest. There is no any attraction between those. After rubbing, we know well about those can attract with the balloon. Attract to the balloon. Attract to the balloon. Understand? So piece of papers will attract to the balloon, and piece of dry leaves will attract to the balloon, and husk attract to the balloon. Then we'll go with the drinking straw. What you can say? Drinking straw. Drinking straw. Okay, by using drinking straw to the tiny papers and dried leaves, piece of dry leaves and husk. Before rubbing, there is no any movement in that particles. They are in the remain stationary. They are in the rest. After rubbing, what happens? Those are attracted to the what? Straw. Those are attracted to the straw. Understand what I'm talking to you? See there, by doing this activity, what we observed to do that, by rubbing on the different surfaces with the refill, comb, balloon, drinking straw, what happens? Before the rubbing and after the rubbing. Before what we discussed, those are the activity procedures, material required. aim, and observation. This is. We observed before it was remain stationary or rest. Those are what piece of paper, piece of dry leaves and husk. But after rubbing, those everything is attracted to those refill, foam, balloon, drinking straw. Okay, those are attracting, not a problem, by rubbing on different surfaces. Then why those are attracting? Then why those are attracting? That we have to talk about why the pieces of thinny papers, why the pieces of what dried leaves, why the pieces of what we can say means husk attracting with a particular subject, a particular object or object. Okay, what is the reason? What is the relation between the attraction of such a dose? What is showing? To talk about that, we must know about electrostatic force. We must know about what? Electrostatic force. What we must know about that? Electrostatic force. What is that electrostatic force? What is that electrostatic force? To talk that electrostatic force, we have to do again one more lab experiment or lab activity. We have to do one more lab activity. What is that lab activity? What we can identify to find effect charged bodies which have been rubbed by different materials. Up to now, what we discussed by rubbing on different surfaces, we observe those are attracting with that. Now we are going to observe by rubbing on different surfaces by using objects, the bodies are charged or not? Charged or not? Charged means what? Generally, imagine your phone, mobile phone, going to dead. Your battery is going to dead. Your battery of mobile phone going to dead. Means what? The mobile phone battery exhausts that charge. We have to connect charging to make the charging to the battery, to give the life to the battery for mobile phone. Is it or not? Of course. Like also by rubbing on different surfaces, the bodies will get charged. But that particular object by rubbing on different surfaces on particular surfaces, on particular which surfaces by rubbing, those will get particular. Means what I'm saying, the objects which are rubbing on the particular surfaces, which are charging, which are not charging, which are charging, which are not charging. So to do that, same objects we can utilize on different surfaces, plain paper, polythene sheet, woolen cloth. Plain paper, what are the surfaces we are going to talk about? Plain paper, polythene sheet, plain paper, polythene sheet, woolen cloth, and dry hair. Such a different surfaces. Our cloth, see how many surfaces are there. Suppose refill will charge on particular surface, it never charge on different another surface. Okay, comb will charge on particular surface by rubbing, it never charge by rubbing on other surface. Those we'll talk in the next class. So we have to remember what we finished today. Understand? Those have to recall what we finished and what are the main precautions, what are the main cause, what is the main cause to get the attraction, what is the main reason to give the spark. We'll see in the next class. Okay? We'll see in the next class. Have a good day to you.